Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 206 of the Classic Elite Podcast. My name is Scott. I've got Dustin with me. What's going on, man?
I feel like I'm being interrogated.
Right now?
My face.
Yeah, dude. If you're a Twitch watcher or a YouTube listener, you'll notice that it's just a light bulb. Dustin's not podcasting from next to the sun this week. What wattage is that like?
From Gitmo.
Like how many luminance or whatever is in that light bulb? Like a million?
I think so. I bought a big industrial pack of light bulbs last time we ran out, and I think they may have been like 120.
Holy crap!
Yeah, but they're the spirally kind that never go dead.
That's a lie. I've had some spirally kind go dead. I had some spirally kind. Those can create noise interference on radio receivers.
Huh.
So if you plug those into some garage door openers, it can make your car remote intermittent.
Huh.
Not weird. I never would have thought that.
I wonder if they vibrate at like a 2.4 gigahertz or something.
Whatever it is. Or the 900 megahertz signal. Remember that with old cordless phones?
Yeah.
That was like the rock solid frequency. So, yeah, everyone, we are a video game podcast. Thank you very much for joining us this week. I do want to explain a little bit about why there was a delay in getting last week's episode out, so hopefully you're enjoying the podcast twice this week. I had a tough weekend. I had a friend pass away, so that's been tough to deal with. And then, if you watched the show last week, man, we had some technical difficulties, and
yeah,
Dustin, I ended up having to install some third-party desktop application that rips Twitch videos. So okay. I don't know what I put on my computer. This is for the sake of the audience. But any of the website ripping services or whatever that are clearly nefarious as well would only let me rip 15-minute chunks of video.
Oh.
So I just found a program that was talked about in a forum, crossed my fingers, and managed to rip the audio from that and upload that rip to YouTube. And yeah, what a mess. So took
you
a lot
put your
longer.
Identity on the line.
What now?
You put your identity on the line.
I did. It's gone. It's out there.
Some Russian hacker's going to be buying a house in your name pretty soon.
Well, as long as he pays the bills, I guess. Keep that score up. I gotta admit, I'm embarrassed to admit this, Dustin. I got an Amazon Echo, and so I know that's like Internet of Things territory. So I was embarrassed to even bring it up. But since I'm already talking to my phone and talking to some hockey puck in the corner of my room, then screw it. I might as well just start installing whatever software comes at me.
True, yeah.
You gotta love when the publisher is unknown.exe or unknown. You're like, oh, great. Well, all for the podcast. So,
so the Classically Gold subscribers, they can just go ahead and hack into your Echo and get the show 24/7.
Yeah, absolutely. They can check out my daily tech headlines.
Yeah,
it's neat. I forgot to shut it off. I need to remember to shut it off on our podcast, so I can't talk about the A word without triggering that hockey puck to chime in and have it start talking to me during the podcast.
I would love for you to get into an argument with AI on the podcast. That
right?
would be fantastic.
It's going to happen eventually. I'll be like, I did not ask you to turn down the temperature. So yeah, man. How's the week been for you?
Pretty good. Slow going. I took a vacation off Veterans Day, and me and Kim went out for a weekend and had fun. I bought some video games from Ed McKay's. And I watched The Usual Suspects again.
Does that hold up well? I haven't watched that in a long time.
It's pretty good. It's 21 years old.
God, that's crazy.
Yeah, doesn't that make you feel old?
Yeah. That's one of those movies that I always heard about and never got around to watching. And somehow it wasn't spoiled for me.
Wow.
Yeah, right? And so, now I was still in high school when I watched it, but it wasn't when it was I didn't see it in theaters or anything. But man, yeah, the twist was awesome in that movie. So if you haven't watched Usual Suspects, Or if you get about the twist, go watch it. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Give me the keys, you fucking cocksucker motherfucker. Benicio del Toro is so funny in that movie. So, yeah. Well, Dustin, I'm living in the future, man. I've got AI surrounding me, and
Yeah. You're outnumbered.
do you guys have Kroger in Nashville?
Mm-hmm.
So our Kroger here in Findlay allows you to order your groceries online and then go pick them up the next day. It
Uh,
it was a magical experience.
yeah.
I'm just sitting in my bed thinking about what I'd like to get for my groceries this week. Then I busted out my recipe book so I have stuff to make like chili, stew, soups, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I just went kind of nuts trying this out, and it's like a $5 convenience fee.
Okay.
And you pull up to a parking spot. There's a phone number to call when you get there. They ask for your name. You tell them what spot you're in, and they just bring out the groceries, throw them in your trunk, and swipe your card, and you're gone. They also it was really easy to get sales and stuff to see what was on sale, what wasn't. And they've got a really good substitution policy. Like if you get the Kroger brand of something and they're sold out, they'll upgrade you to the name brand.
Is it additional cost or?
No. It's just you pay the Kroger price even though they upgrade you.
Sweet.
And if you something like if you get downgraded to the Kroger brand because a name brand thing's out,
Mm-hmm.
it's a courtesy free charge.
Sweet.
Like
Dude, that's awesome.
It was insane. So yeah, I feel like I'm in a period like where Napster first started, and you didn't realize that it was the beginning of everything changing. But at the first like experience with it was just like magical. Like the idea of listening to any song at any time, whenever I wanted, was unbelievable. And yeah, the fact I can just do my grocery shopping from my computer and select a time to go pick it up. And yeah, it was neat. So I'm living in the future, man. My thermostat is smart. My Echo thing plays my daily tech news for me.
Can we name it the Dolphin?
What? My Amazon thing?
Yeah.
I guess you could. But you can't like say dolphin is the keyword. They lock you into the A word, which I'm not going to say, or echo. You can say echo if you select it.
What if you say Echo the Dolphin? Will it
Oh,
automatically
now I
look
say,
up?
God, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I missed that joke.
But we could. That could be its code name.
The dolphin?
Yeah.
Yes. So I could give you an example to say, dolphin, turn the thermostat up to 72 degrees, and it just would happen. Yeah, so that's been a pretty fun experiment to have dolphin around me.
I need to see if Kroger does that around here. I think Kim would totally love just going and picking up groceries and.
In the first few times, it's free, and then it's $5 whenever you use it after that.
Like crack.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm like, God, and now I'm gonna be addicted to it. Yeah, and I did get a rush. It was really neat. Did you hear the rumor that Amazon's going to have like 2,000 grocery stores over the next couple of years? Yeah. So I'd imagine this is what their future looks like. So go Krogering, man. I guess, yeah, that's great. So, and yeah, as far as announcements last week, I mentioned that I was going to be a guest on the Don't Copy That Floppy podcast. Schedules did not line up, so I think I'm going to be on this Friday. So tune in Friday just search for Don't Copy That Floppy on Twitch, and you should find us if you want to hear it recorded live. So, yeah. And also, one other thing, I've got a couple reviews coming out for some hardware, Dustin.
All right.
I finally shot the, that was screenable.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It's I don't know anyone in Sanford, Florida, so
done. Yeah, it was weird to get back into doing like a hardware review. I've got nicer equipment now, so I had like good lighting and stuff. So hopefully it turns out well. Hopefully people will enjoy the review, and I'll try to be as fair as I can. So
man, I can't imagine trying to do a review right now.
it's it's weird. It's hard to review stuff.
Yeah.
It's easy to like spitball about it, but to like be concise and informative and fair to the product, like it's tough. So keep your eyes out. I will be getting into that. So, you want to get into news?
Let's do it.
All right, gaming news this week. There was a really good article from Forbes, of all places, about the NES Classic Shortage. Have you been following any of the shortage news?
I knew that there was one.
Okay.
That's as specific as I got.
This article, it's fair, it does present both parts. Basically, Nintendo just doesn't understand how popular the hardware is going to be, or they're doing it on purpose. And the writer's like, if I had to, I'm paraphrasing, but he's like, if I had to bet, I think they're doing it on purpose. False scarcity is shitty if that's really what it is.
Yeah.
Look at the De Beers family. We got diamonds are not rare, but since they own all the diamond mines, they now are. It's a weird thing. So I don't know, for Nintendo to do this, because they've come out and said that they're going to be making more throughout the holiday season and into next year.
Yeah.
And they announced this a while ago, and it looks like pretty basic electronics. And that cord's goddamn short. I think that I tend to agree with the article. It's hard to not think it was on purpose. Could be wrong. What's your gut tell you?
I think it's hilarious that people are like scalping these on eBay.
I think it's funny that people will pay what some of the scalpers are charging.
When you could just buy a Nintendo and some games.
Yes, you at the levels they're going for on eBay in this short supply right now, you could get the AVS and really
Right, yeah. Play it in HDMI, looking all crisp and beautiful.
play it, yeah, and make it awesome. It is adorable. Have you seen any of the reviews or pictures or anything?
Hmm.
It like fits in the palm of your hand. It's about the same dimensions as like an NES cart. If you stack maybe like 3 or 4 NES carts together, that's about the size of the system.
Okay.
So it's neat. I heard the controller is great. Feels regular. So I don't know. If Nintendo is just dumb with their logistics and doesn't understand the demand for their product, fine. But if they're doing it on purpose, screw you.
It weirds me out that there are people who are like, oh yeah, the Nintendo, I used to play that. Like, that's so weird for you and I.
It is, and I ran into that this weekend when when my friends and I got together after the funeral. My one buddy, he's like, "Oh yeah, you play video games? Did you see Nintendo's coming out with the NES again?" I'm just like, "Wow, what an echo chamber of video games we live in."
Right?
You know what I mean? Like, to me, everybody knew that, and he just found out or whatnot. Which I don't blame him. Like, why would you? I mean, Forbes is reporting on it, so I guess it's a big enough deal. But yeah, he was like, "Did you hear about it?" Yes, I heard about it.
It's this year's Furby.
Yeah, it's gonna get banned from Congress because it's gonna be leaking secrets. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It was banned from the Congress Hall or whatever. Oh gosh, our political system's pretty funny sometimes. The people we have over there freaking out about Furbies. But speaking also of the article, so let me ask you a question, Dustin.
All right.
The phrase "chomping at the bit."
Yep.
Okay. I've always said chomping, like you chomp on something, right?
Oh, sorry, that started playing audio. Yes.
In the article, it said champing, CHAMPING, champing at the bit. So I immediately Googled to see if it was a typo, because this is in Forbes. Based on what I quickly found in a Google search, so take this with a grain of salt, it seems like it really started as champing at the bit, and champing means to bite and nibble at stuff. So most grammar Nazis are like, no, it's champing, not chomping. However, chomping also means the same thing as champing, essentially, as far as that phrase is concerned.
Okay.
I had no idea. I've never heard of champing at the bit before, and that's supposedly the right way to say it.
Yeah, that's weird.
Another one is pipe and pike. Coming down the pipe and coming down the pike.
Yeah.
I hear it both ways, and I think pike is the real phrase, but it's not jarring if someone says pipe, because I know what they're talking about.
I always said pike.
Like a turnpike.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. Interesting stuff. Also, still Nintendo news. This is a Nintendo heavy news segment. There's some rumors about the Nintendo Switch.
Okay. I tried to look at this article, but it started playing audio.
Yeah, it's the Forbes one. I have it so I linked the appropriate article. It does that splash thing. The rumor is there's going to be 2 SKUs. One is, I think, 32 gigabytes for $250, or a 120 gigabyte SKU at $300. That's well below what I was expecting. Me hearing this, I don't know, man. I might be tempted to get it at launch at $250.
Yeah.
I have extra.
That's pretty cheap.
Like,
I don't know. We'll see what games come out for him.
that's a good point. Yeah. Dan Riker on the Bombcast heard a rumor. Maybe he was hoping. So maybe he was just hopeful that Mario would be a pack-in game.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That would be amazing. I'd pay $400 for a good Mario game pack-in.
A genuine Mario game, not like Mario's Nintendo Land mini game collection.
Yes.
Like for real bomb-ass Mario.
Yeah, not the new Super Mario Brothers
Right.
coin doubler. But, yeah, I'm excited. If it's going to be that inexpensive, if the reviews are good, I'm getting one in the launch window. I won't be able to not. I'll be too tempted by the Nintendo goodness.
No.
As I was just complaining about how shitty I think it is that they have a short supply of stuff. It'll happen with the NX or the Switch. If it's $250, it'll be a massive shortage.
Well, I don't know. The Wii U was pretty easy to come by.
It was, but didn't it cost more? Wasn't that $300 and $350? Weren't those the variants?
Yeah, it was a little more expensive.
So, I don't know. But I'm excited to follow it. It should be interesting.
I don't know if it's going to have that Wii zeitgeist that caused shortages like the Wii did.
I definitely don't think it will the way the Wii did. The Wii, I actually believe Nintendo genuinely didn't expect that much demand.
Right, yeah.
But for Amiibos and the Nintendo Classic, I have a hard time believing they couldn't forecast that a little better. Maybe they were scared. I don't know. But unfortunately, one of the launch games, Dustin, is not going. Well, I shouldn't say this for sure. It does not appear that the new Zelda game, Breath of the Wild, is going to be at launch. It's been delayed, according to a video that I saw on YouTube from Happy Console Gamer.
That's a bummer, but it's always a good thing.
I'm looking at it like the BioShock Infinite. Seemed worthwhile. So, yeah, don't get your hopes up about getting the Breath of the Wild anytime soon. Now, I didn't do very good diligence as far as being a podcast person or someone talking about games, because I just assumed that it was both the Wii version and the Switch version, and now the Switch would be more likely to have Zelda in its launch window. I don't know. I didn't look close enough. Because maybe it's just the Wii U that was delayed, so now they'll launch simultaneously. I don't know. I guess that could happen.
Yeah.
So I don't know. If you're interested, I'll have some information below that I didn't bother to research. Also in Nintendo news again, Mario Run will cost $10 to unlock the full game. Think you might try it?
Nope.
Okay. I'll definitely download it and try it. And if it's decent, I'll probably get it. I have there was a new Galaga game on my phone though, so I've been finding some neat phone games lately.
They have like half a kilobyte of space open, so
Do you have like the 16 gig iPhone?
yeah.
I understand.
The barely fits the operating system iPhone.
Yeah. It's the cheaper one, so that's what the parents would get, but they're the ones that need the most storage because they don't know how to utilize cloud services. It was rough. We have someone in the chat. Mopstein says only iOS. I guess, yeah, the Android version wasn't confirmed for when that might come out, is what I think he's referring to, or she. Yeah. Yeah, so, and then also, yeah, I guess there's nothing else to talk about other than, yeah, I'll try. If it's decent, I'll pay the $10. You were playing some phone games. Do you have any installed right now?
No.
It's just Sully and operating system.
Yeah.
Some text messages.
Usually don't even use it for that.
The most dad.
I use mine for slick deals mainly.
It's not even communication device anymore. Have you found any good things on Slick Deals that you just couldn't resist lately?
Oh, all the time. The last thing I bought was, I think they were, this is going to sound crazy, pepper spray grenades.
Oh, God. Why would you need a pepper spray grenade?
You never know when you may need to put down a grenade on a hard surface that spins in the 360 and sprays pepper spray in a cloud.
You're right. You do never know in that violent corner of Nashville you live in.
Hey, man, there's riots everywhere.
They're calming down now that the election's a week past.
Are they?
I don't know. Probably not. I'm sure there's still people crying about it. So, yeah, that... I'm sorry. I'm not going to get past pepper spray grenades. Wow. You should do a YouTube video just showing one of those bad boys in action.
I might. I got 2 of them, so...
Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, Slick Deals, man. They know how to get you. I did think about you earlier today. One of my customers is doing a gun auction.
Cool.
So I'm working on a gun auction ad, and they had like AR-15s and different rifles and some shotguns. They had some 1911s, like all the sorts of gadgets. I was sitting there looking at it like, Dustin would really enjoy this.
Yeah.
They're selling a bunch of ammo and guns, so that'll be a fun ad to make. But, there is a rumor that PlayStation Network is going to allow you to change your name.
Legally?
Yes, Dustin, legally, too. So anybody out there with an embarrassing PSN name, you may be able to change it without having to start a new account and lose all your trophies and purchases and all that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, if you were 12 or 13, you made something really dumb, and now you're in the workforce, and you find out your coworker plays video games.
School sucks, weed rules.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say a weed joke, too. Bluntmaster 420XX. Who came up with using X's when the name was taken to like cheat to get your name back?
Xander Cage.
Okay, wow, you were like too on the spot with that. I guess you've contemplated it before. I just named mine Classic Elite and Scott. It's just what it is. Or Slammers some places.
Yeah.
But pretty straightforward. No one's going to take that name. So I don't have to worry about it. And I'm not too embarrassed. I'm like, yeah, that's my podcast name. So I didn't have to like sit there and think about, I don't know, like Detroit Tigers fan 420. Like, would you have to change your name?
No, mine's Vogue Nasty,
There you go.
and that's just the nickname I earned in the army.
That's
And I was like, well, I'm not changing that. I'm keeping it.
yep. Mopsy in the chat says, remember the AOL names, XX underscore Scott XX. Uh, I kid you not, man. In early high school, when people changed their AOL names all the time, I would sit there and sometimes just mash the keyboard, just like randomly hit it,
Mhm.
and see if something really cool came up. And there was this one with like Q's and Z's, and I don't know, it just looked neat, so I stuck with it for a while. But I was when I was in Little League, my baseball coach called me Scooter Pie, and I hated it, and it stuck. And so my AOL screen name was Scooter Pie. I did change the E at the end to a 3 before like I even knew what leet speak was or whatever. I gotta hate saying that. It makes my skin crawl saying leet speak. Damn you, Tony, for picking leet in her name. Uh, but yeah, I had Scooter Pie. That's what I went by. And I still have friends that call me Scooter.
Sweet.
It's common for Scots. There's actually a little Debbie snack called a Scooter Pie. Unfortunately, I don't like it.
Oh, we could get a sponsorship.
It's like a knockoff moon pie. Do you like moon pies?
All right.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the marshmallow. So yeah, Mupstein says pimp in ASCII. I like that. Were you big into AOL? Was that big with you and your friends?
Not really. I did a little bit, but I didn't really have enough friends with the internet.
It was a big deal for us,
Yeah.
and there was like social connotations to it. Like you didn't want to be online during social times because it would look like you had no friends. But you wouldn't think further past like, well, anybody that caught you doesn't have friends either, so it's like, what difference does it make?
Yeah.
So yeah,
See, then you could have made friends because then you would know who needs friends.
that's a good but that's a mature, like rational way to look at it.
Right. I wouldn't have thought that way back.
Yeah, when
back
you're
in the day.
16, you don't think that way. So yeah, and then also in the news, the last thing I wanted to talk about. Do you ever watch Conan O'Brien's Clueless Gamer stuff?
Mm-mm.
It's basically him sitting down and making jokes about video games, and he had Elijah Wood on a couple days ago, and
All right.
they did Final Fantasy 15.
Okay.
It was hilarious. I'm a big fan of Elijah Wood. I like a ton of his movies, and Conan O'Brien was just great. And they basically the whole time were just complaining about how boring and random and dumb the stuff they were doing was. And the payoff at the end was the development team's in the next room. So
No.
yeah, so
Oh no.
you have to watch it. It's pretty good. Yeah, Elijah Wood, man, I loved him when I was a kid. Like, my favorite was probably Radio Flyer. I loved that movie. It was really depressing, but it was really good. The one where he had the abusive stepdad or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
The Good Son.
oh God, with Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
He was in the Cranberries video, Zombie.
He was?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know that.
He was in Green Street Hooligans.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Really good movie. Wolford was a good show. Did you ever watch Wolford? Where he had the
think so.
imaginary dog.
Oh no, I never saw that.
It's awesome too. So yeah, go watch the Elijah Wood, Conan O'Brien, Clueless Gamer for Final Fantasy 15. It's great. I'll have it
I
linked.
think he was in some movies about a book, based on a book. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, Conan O'Brien did make a good Lord of the Rings joke in the video.
Oh,
He really did.
sweet.
I was impressed. So yeah, that's it for news for this week. So Dustin, what have you been playing, man?
A little bit of Sonic and a little bit of Sonic.
I forgot to put it on the show notes, but me too. I re-downloaded Sonic CD for my tablet.
Ooh. All right, sweet.
It was a
Uh,
free app with Amazon's app.
what soundtrack do they have? And do they have the American or the Japanese soundtrack in that?
I'm going to assume American, but I have no idea.
It's a good one.
Didn't know there was a difference for Sonic CD.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, there's some Sonic nerds that will fight to the death over that.
Which do you prefer?
I'm not familiar with the Japanese, but the American is excellent.
Yeah, I think the music's great. It's a really good Sonic game, and I just paired my Xbox One controller to my tablet.
Hmm.
My tablet's 4:3 ratio, so it fits perfectly.
Okay.
It's a great experience. If you have a tablet, get the App Store from Amazon. But yeah, you've been playing Sonic. I'm assuming that's Sully's fault.
Yeah, he's kind of taking over all my game time. But we played some Sonic Generations. I actually, I beat a couple of levels with old school Sonic that I hadn't yet
Okay.
and opened them up. So I'm actually just about to open the second boss fight because you have to like beat levels and then stuff will open up, like side stuff will open up and you can get keys.
Okay.
And then when you get the like 3 keys, you can open up the boss fight.
Oh, yes, yes, yeah. I know what you're talking about. For some reason, I was trying to picture that happening in Sonic 3. But no, I remember. And that's a frustrating aspect of Sonic Generations.
Yeah.
I lost all my saves, and I don't want to go through everything again. I wish I had cloud save on my Sonic Generations on PC, all set to go.
Yeah. I don't know, it's still a pretty good game.
Oh, it's phenomenal. Like, it's... Oh, woe is me. I have to play through a good game again. Did you get the DLC for it, the pinball stuff?
Hmm.
It's not good.
Oh no, I'm glad I didn't buy it.
It came with it. Like, I want to say it just installed for me. I don't know if you have to pay for it. I guess I should have asked if you tried it. It's like, you know how like you were describing the map with the keys and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it's above like, it's either like just past Chemical Zone, like, and just above those, and there's like a little pinball table that just appeared.
Huh.
It's called like Comic Zone or something. It's a little pinball game. It reminds me of the one from Sonic Spinball where you got into like the actual table perspective in the bonus game.
Mm-hmm.
I played so much Sonic Spinball and I can't play it anymore. But I got it for Christmas and I played it so much.
That sucks.
It does. It's too bad that it didn't work with the Sonic and Knuckles cart.
Oh yeah, then you can play with Knuckles.
They should
Put
have
him
let
in
you, just to let him flow a little bit. Like, give him a little bit of those mechanics.
Oh yeah,
That game was terrible. I shouldn't say terrible, but...
I need to buy that game.
Sonic and Knuckles?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
own
great.
that.
When I said terrible, I meant Sonic Spinball. Sonic and Knuckles is excellent. I think that's a really fun game.
I actually have a complete copy of Sonic Spinball. I don't know why.
I probably still have the card. I'd have to look. So,
Probably came with a lot or something.
yeah, most likely. Or you saw it at one of your stores and you're like, yeah, that's $2.
Why not?
I actually kind of like the music. Some people hate the music and the sound.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's my rose-colored nostalgia glasses, but I kind of like the music. Reminds me of Christmas Eve.
Oh man, that's coming up.
Yes, it is. And I don't know if I'm getting anybody.
There were mosquitoes outside today. Like it's hot enough here in Tennessee that there are mosquitoes out.
I've never been jealous of anybody to be around mosquitoes, but I kind of am. It's not too bad here. It's been in the like 50s and 60s, so we haven't had any bad cold spells or anything like that.
Man.
I gotta get all my leaves chopped up though before it rains and gets all gross. It sucks. So yeah, anything new with Sonic Generations? I mean, other than the boss fight.
Yeah, not really. Just basically the same old thing.
It's slowly picking up, like more on the new Sonic version, like that 3D stuff. Now that because he was getting better with the Super Mario,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like 3D stuff, or the Spyro the Dragon. I mean,
Yeah, he has trouble with water. All the water levels where he gets like he doesn't know that The reason that horrible music keeps playing is because he's drowning.
Okay.
And he's just like, yeah, whatever, I'm drowning. And it gives me anxiety attacks every time.
I hate that. Sonic really put a lot of dread in you when it came to that sound and the slow controls. Like, it
Yeah.
was really jarring. Almost everybody that grew up with games knew that.
There were a couple of levels where they kept springing like instant deaths on me. It was a water level, and it was one where the flow of water will take you, and you have to grab onto the pole and like move up the pole and then let go,
I know what you're talking about.
and then move down the pole and let go. And if you hit the spikes, then it kills you instantly. That pissed me off because I was almost at the end of the level, and it was my last life because Solly thought it would be fun to drown him 4 times in a row. And then I hit that and died instantly, and I was like, well, I can't flip you off because my son's sitting beside me, but I really want to.
It reminds me, that specific mechanic reminds me of the Battletoads kart racer or jet ski kind of levels.
Yeah.
You almost have to memorize where the patterns were going to be. And when it comes to the up and down, Sonic can only hold on for so long, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it starts to break eventually.
Okay. Yeah. Sonic 3, that's just Genesis, right?
Yeah. Playing Sonic 3, the special stages in that game are hard. That's the one where you're kind of going over the checkerboard planet.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
kinda like faux 3D, and you have to like hit the blue spheres and avoid the red ones. If you touch a single red sphere,
It's over.
it kicks you out.
Yeah.
And
Sonic and Knuckles has that same bonus mechanic in it.
okay.
Whereas I like Sonic 1's the best, that kind of rotating 2D
Yeah.
kind of wall thing, maze. But also the Sonic 2 one was really impressive, where you were like running down a tunnel or running down a half pipe.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
I don't know how well that holds up, but I remember at the time thinking that, wow, this is really cool.
But yeah, it looks great with your HD Retrovision component cables.
Speaking of HD Retrovision, Dustin, I'm getting dangerously close to your request.
Okay.
I bust out the old Genesis, and I have one of those power supplies that lets you adjust the voltage and then have different connectors to fit whatever AC adapter you need it to fit.
Ooh, okay.
My Genesis flipped on. The old one that I thought was broken. Now, it's really finicky, so it doesn't always work, but my HD Retrovision adapter came in.
Okay.
So I was able to get Lion King on my original Genesis hooked up and play. It's fuzzy, but I got it to work, and I dug out my guitar amp from my shed, so I'm waiting on some cables.
Yes.
And I might be able to get the demo up, but as soon as I flip the distortion on in the amp, it's like really bad noise, and I think it was my low quality cable.
Okay.
So I ordered some nice cables off Amazon. It'd just be good to have around anyways. Also, there's some grounding tricks I could use, which is unsafe, but whatever. Again, for the sake of the video, for our YouTube audience.
Your identity's already out there. You may as well put your health on the line too.
My house is insured, so whatever, right? Yeah, so I don't. Fingers crossed, man. If that works, that would be really, really fun. I might try to do it before the holidays, but if my brother is around during the holidays, maybe I'll do like a Let's Play old school version of how my brother and I used to do that game. Might be fun. We'll see. Just kind of tossing ideas around. But yeah, man, I might be able to do the Genesis obscure, weird distortion thing. Any other thoughts on Sonic 3 or Generations?
They're both good games. Sonic 3 is really good. I'm always surprised at how good that game is whenever I play it.
Yeah. Do you have the Knuckles cart?
Hmm.
It really, because he can float, and he can wall climb. It really adds. You can get to different parts of Sonic 3 that you can't at all with Sonic.
Huh.
So it might be worth checking out, since I don't know. That cart might be cheap.
Man, Snap-on technology.
I saw a really funny thing on Reddit. Maybe it was Twitter, but someone said like the first DLC, and they showed the Sonic and Knuckles cart with
Yeah.
Sonic 3 plugged in. It only worked with 2 and 3. It didn't work with 1 or any other games.
Or Streets of Rage.
Or John Madden Football 92.
Would be awesome.
I actually did try that just to see what would happen. And then it just, it's the crew of Sonic characters, I want to say in black and white, just shaking their fingers like, nope, you can't do that. It's pretty funny. It was a good little Easter egg. So, all right. Well, I guess I also haven't been playing a lot of stuff, so I'll be pretty quick.
Hey, you mentioned, just to interrupt you real quick, is it Super Spike V-Ball that you were talking about?
Oh my God, it is. That game is unbelievable.
Okay, sweet.
When you need a good co-op game with a buddy over, just bust that out. And
Word.
if you can remember, when the ball is in the air and you're going to spike it, continue to mash the jump button before you hit spike, before you hit the power button, and it'll charge you up and give you the kaboom, like Super Spike, hence the name. It's awesome.
Sweet. That
game is so goddamn good.
I got that game for $5.
And it's a travesty that's such an underrated game. I've never played that soccer one, though.
Me either.
So, let's see here. Mopenstein in the chat put a picture of a Game Genie with Sonic and Knuckles and Sonic 2 plugged in. All of that going into a Nomad. That's a great picture.
Awesome.
That's great. Zarek will be jealous of that Nomad. It doesn't have a cracked screen. I've never played one of those.
Me either. Shout out to him having a Nomad at all, though.
Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely. I would definitely... Oh, that's his picture. Oh, that is amazing, man. I thought you just pulled that from Google. That's awesome. I'm very jealous. He's got the NES flight stick and the original toaster in the background, too.
I see a Super Game Boy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's vertical, so it's probably plugged into a Super Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I can't zoom in anymore. I was trying to decide or figure out if it's a Model 1 or Model 2 Super Nintendo. I'm going to guess Model 1.
Yeah.
Nintendo Retro. Oh, I wonder if this is, it's probably Jeremy. Jeremy Huber, everybody, from the Cartoon Retrocast. There we go, because, yeah, he said that's from his Nintendo Retrocast days. That's awesome, man. Well, Jeremy, thanks for joining. We will get your email shortly.
Yeah.
He's doing some really cool stuff over at the Cartoon Retrocast. We just started a Secret Santa in the Patreon group. So, like, everybody's sending each other retro crap for for Christmas, and I'm really excited about it. Remember the retro junk box that I did and really enjoyed that? It's the same basic idea, but the limit's only $35, so it's not prohibitive. So I'll look for some neat stuff. So
no, like little Samson cards going out?
No, probably not. Well, you know what? I could give him my knockoff Famicom thing I bought. So, yeah. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about the PlayStation 4 Pro. Not the issues that it's having. Apparently, some games are running worse on the Pro than they did on the original, like Skyrim.
Score.
So that's embarrassing. But, so I moved my 4K TV into my room where I'm more likely to actually watch it.
Mm-hmm.
So I've realized that streaming 4K, to me, and I'm not very far away from this television, it doesn't really look any better than a full HD 1080p Blu-ray. So having a lack of a Blu-ray drive on the PS4 Pro, if if the fidelity of the content you consume is important to you, it's really not a good idea. Oh, it was the NES Junior. SNES
Oh,
Junior.
sweet.
That's awesome, man. Now knowing it as Jeremy, I'm not surprised at all that not surprised at all that he's got those pictures just ready to go. But I ended up getting Star Trek on UHD with Voodoo. It was like I got the Blu-ray, right? Then I unlock the 4K version through the streaming service on Roku, and it doesn't look any different. There's no difference. 4K streaming is garbage.
Oh.
I mean, it works. It looks good. It looks great.
Yeah.
But so does regular 1080p. Like,
Right, yeah.
and so it really, based on what I'm hearing from other people, HDR is what really makes the picture great, and that's only with 4K TVs. So that's the technology I would recommend for people to pay attention to when, TV shopping. 4K does. I'm unimpressed. I got Planet Earth on Blu-ray, and it looks unbelievable. I watched Star Trek on Blu-ray, and I streamed Star Trek in 4K. The 1080p looks just as good, probably better, because it's a higher bitrate. So, yeah, just wanted to mention that real quick. Oh, yeah. Jeremy, your setup, it was pared down back then, man. So, yeah, also, Dustin, I'm still playing Owlboy. I like it too. I'm sad. I'm nervous about finishing the game.
Okay.
But I love it. So I'm now like
Sweet.
in savor mode. I'll play it just like a little bit and then like cut myself off intentionally. It's a neat game. I'm sucked into the cheesy little story, and it's fun to play, and it's still beautiful. It's great. Also, the other day I fired up some Heroes of the Storm, and I haven't done that in like a year. And I forgot why I liked that game so much. Heroes of the Storm is awesome. So go play it if you're a Blizzard fan, if you haven't checked it out.
Which one is that one?
That's their MOBA.
Right, okay. I forget it every time.
Well, there's that Heart of the Swarm, which was the expansion of StarCraft. So
Yes.
I think it's totally reasonable to get that twisted around. And again,
and the Door song, Riders of the Storm.
Riders of the Storm. I think the Doors are overrated.
Yeah, they were right. I think if you did a lot of drugs back then, they were probably super good.
Yeah,
Then you sober up and you're like, meh.
I probably would have dug them even if it wasn't drug related, because they didn't sound like anybody else.
No.
I did like that 90s movie with Val Kilmer and Meg Ryan.
Yeah.
But again, I saw that when I was like 12, so it's probably terrible.
I mean, they're okay. I still like them now. I'll listen to them. But every once in a while, I'm like, man, that organ solo for 7 minutes. Strong choice.
Could have had a little more brevity there.
I'm not doing enough acid for this song.
It also throws me off when they have a bass guitar in their songs. Because I'm like, I know it's just a studio musician. Like, they don't have a bassist. So, all right, man. Well, are you ready to get to comments and YouTube stuff and emails? And then we'll call it a show.
Oop, you know what? I closed my email. Hold on, let me pull that back out.
That's all right. I will... I'll read our first one from Jeremy Huber, everybody, at the Cartoon Retrocast.
What?
You can get that, their podcast, which is excellent, at the cartoonretrocast.com. We've talked about them a bunch on the show, so if you're a new listener, just trust us. It's great. Go over there. But Jeremy was listening to an older episode, and he writes an email about Dumez commenting as a foreigner, and the subject is not Americans correcting our pronunciation of words. And then he says, I know I'm weeks late, but you tell those foreigners that insist on correcting our pronunciations of words like Halloween, that we can pronounce it any way that we want. We Americans popularized something, and then the other nations that barely had their own identity latched onto our culture and then got smug about it. We didn't invent Halloween, but no country cared about it until we got involved and made it awesome. When Americans start celebrating Boxing Day, spoiler, we won't. Then we can worry about the way we say it. So, Jeremy, that cracked me up reading that. If you listen to Jeremy, like he's a funny dude. So Don't take too much offense to that, dumbass, for correcting us about Halloween. I still whenever I read Halloween, I think to myself, like, man, it's got me backwards. I second guess how I pronounce it now. Sent me down a tough rabbit hole. Speaking of Demez, he also got, this is a story that he wrote to us. So Sony really screwed him over with his PS3. So he logs in and he says his PS3 won't activate, so he can't play games. They tell me that he deactivated a machine last June. He said he never did this. Also, there are 3 PS3 systems active, which is wrong. So he's been hacked. He should only have 2 active. And then he says they just told him too bad, and they got to wait 6 months since he deactivated the last one. And it says that it was owner deactivated, saying basically that he's lying. Then he told him that he was clearly hacked and someone stole his information and activated more PS3 systems. They won't deactivate all the machines on his account until December 20th. He can still log into his PSN account, and his account is listed as not hacked or something like that. He even gave a transcript to us, so I didn't read through it, but it's weird to get this because I've heard on several other podcasts recently people talk about Sony's great customer service as of late. And then there's this.
You must have got the Canadian version.
It's really scary when someone steals from you and the people that could help won't believe you.
Yeah.
Or are flat out unwilling to help. So that's too bad, Demez. Hopefully that gets rectified for you. And then is this an old email from Kevin?
I think so, yeah, because he's talking about the Lion King.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. I did get a notification. I don't know if Kevin used his real birthday on Skype, but sometime here recently it said happy birthday. I won't disclose the day, but happy birthday, Kevin, if it really was your birthday. If not, then I don't know, update Skype so I know the real birthday.
Right.
So yeah. Also, we didn't get anything from Zarek this week. Hope he's doing okay. Do you want to read through some of Demez's comments?
Yeah. Let's see. He starts off with, I just thought of a great slogan for a gay porno movie company. By guys, for guys. I don't know what that second one is.
Oh, he's asking,
Scott, do you always watch Grade A Under A?
Yeah, it's a YouTuber. I've mentioned him on the show before. Yes, I do. He's a funny little cartoon character. He's got some pretty funny videos on Hillary and Trump that have come out that I think you would enjoy. My favorite one is he did this little 2-minute video about girly drinks versus manly drinks and how that shit's that standard is bullshit. Because it's a good video. I will ruin the jokes, but he's like, it's not fair that women get to drink these like delicious drinks and we have to drink piss because it's not manly. I thought it was pretty funny. And he's from somewhere in England, so he's got that accent that's funny to us. Not in like making fun of him, but when a British person tells a really clever joke, it just becomes extra funny for me.
Yeah.
Can't help it.
He goes on to say, Dustin, dude, check out Blackthorn on 32X. Awesome game. The premiere version, or on SNES if you must, but 32X is nicer with all them extra bits. Yeah, weirdly enough, I actually own the Game Boy Advance version of Blackthorn.
Weird. I would have just assumed that it was Sega only.
It was, I think it hit everything. I think it was Sega, SNES, and the Blackthorn. They actually like went in and like made them 32-bit, or rather 3D models as opposed to just the sprites.
Oh, okay, cool. Kind of like Mortal Kombat or whatever. How they use that, or is it more like Donkey Kong, where it was like a pre-rendered 3D object that was put on a 2D plane?
I think it was pre-rendered,
So
pre-rendered 3D.
yeah, because all those screenshots I'm getting are not the 32X version. It's got a neat art style though. I think I would like this game.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. If you like Flashback or Out of This World.
Good deal.
He says he just got a 32X bridge cable for $3, free shipping from China. It took 40 days, but it was $3. I just got my 32X running last week.
That's awesome. And for
Yeah.
$3, it's totally worth it. I've waited for some stuff from China for months.
Yeah, that's the worst. Don't be tricked by the new 3DS for $99. It's the shitty small new 3DS. The XP is way, way worth it, and the small one would be a huge regret. Buy $99 only if it is for a young child, because they will still like it.
I think it comes preloaded with Super Mario World, like the 16-bit
Huh.
original. Yeah,
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
and
Um,
Jeremy Parrish also on his YouTube channel just came out with part 3 of his Mode 7 series for Super Mario World. If you haven't watched that,
Sweet.
it's excellent. It's good retrospective fun. I learned stuff, and I thought I knew almost all the stuff you could know trivially about Super Mario World. I did not.
Dude, okay, sweet. I'm excited about that. And then lastly, he says that this new Genesis thing really will play all ROMs from an SD card, and if it is put out in an NTSC, then I will buy one for sure. The problem is this thing I fear might be PAL signal. But if I'm wrong and Brazil is NTSC, or if it was a PAL/NTSC switch, then I want one. But only if the sound is perfect and everything is perfect.
All of the clone Genesis systems I've experienced, which I'll admit is limited, the sound has been terrible.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would assume that it would, because didn't Sega use like a really common Yamaha chip or something like that?
I think so, yeah.
So it doesn't make sense to me that the porting of the sound is so bad, but I've seen clone systems that do Super Nintendo perfect. And they had like a sound sampling system. So they were like trying to actually put real instrument sounds that were just like little samples instead of actually playing the direct MIDI tone. So I don't know. So I'm surprised that the audio always sucks. So I'm with him that that's a big deal about that system.
Have you? This is such a weird train of thought, but have you ever? I'm sure you have. When you're brushing your teeth and you go too far back and you dry heave a little.
Oh, yeah.
Because you get your gag reflex.
Yeah.
So I was watching Console Wars
Okay.
on YouTube, and it was it's SNES guy and a Sega Genesis guy, and it's like they'll do something that came out for both systems, like RoboCop versus Terminator.
Okay.
And they'll compare the SNES version versus the Sega Genesis version. And one of them, the Sega guy talks about how the sound is better for his than the Super Nintendo, and the guy starts laughing, and it shows him laughing. Like, it shows him laughing all day. He's laughing while he's making his dinner. He's laughing while he's in the shower. He's laughing while he's brushing his teeth. And he's like, he's laughing and brushing his teeth, and he gags himself. And he's like, ha, 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 ha. He keeps going. And oh my God, I probably watched that part where he gags himself like 10 times. I was cracking up, like almost crying laughing.
I'm gonna watch that after we're done. I've got some work to do on that review, but I'm gonna take a break and watch that. I've definitely seen some of their stuff before. That sounds really familiar. Do you ever? The GameSat guys are really funny too. Do you ever watch them? GameSat.
Yeah, oh, they are great.
I think they're
and their
really good,
production
too.
value is just out. Oh, it's awesome.
Yep. They remind me of My Life in Gaming a good bit, as far as like the production value and like two friends get along.
I assume those well, I guess it was four guys. I assume those two channels are one of those guys do it professionally, and that's the reason it just looks so incredible.
There was some sort of behind the scenes thing that I watched. Maybe it was like an unlisted video or something they put up on Twitter. But the blonde guy, I guess not the bald guy, in My Life in Gaming, I forget their names at the moment. It's in like the amount of effort they put in behind the scenes is quite impressive, and it really shows in their videos.
Yeah.
Like they storyboard stuff. They've got different camera angles, different equipment for voiceover stuff. And that Game Dave guy that I talked about, like he gave them the idea for the way to do storyboards.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, not storyboards. They use whiteboards so that they have every scene consistently shot. So they know exactly what camera settings that they used. It was like for every different, because it was impressive. Like every detail they thought about and remembered. And I'm jealous because I sit here and I fiddle with our white balance before every goddamn episode. Now I blame Skype for that, but still, nonetheless. All right. Did we get anything else? I don't think so. No. Okay. Going back to last episode. All right. Well, that's going to do it this week for the episode. You're all lucky. You get a shorter little snippet from us. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. Dustin, before I get to outro music and all the social media stuff, do you have anything else that you wanted to add?
No, I don't think so. Nope.
All right. Cool. So, everybody, thank you very much for listening to this podcast this week. We are available on Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, or your podcast app. Just go ahead and search for us. You should find us. I don't know what happened, but for some reason, our latest episode didn't show up in Google Play. So I'm hoping when this one publishes, it'll push it through. If not, I'll have to contact our RSS Feed support people. Also, we're on Twitter and Facebook. Just search for Classic Elite, Classic L337, and you'll find us. Also, make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/Classic Elite. And if you'd like to watch us record the show live, tune in at Wednesdays around 8:30 Eastern. And you can find us at twitch.tv/classic_elite, and you'll get all the goodness. This week, Dustin, I have continued to work on my music collection of MP3s. Okay. So I started listening to a lot of rock music that I used to listen to. The Mars Volta came up. You familiar with the Mars Volta?
I am, yeah.
I love the Mars Volta. So I am going to play a chiptune cover of the Mars Volta. And I think I'm going to say this right, but I don't really know. Inertiatic ESP. Would you guess that's inertiatic? How would you say that word?
Yeah, that looks good.
Inertiatic ESP. It's a great song. This is a good 8-bit cover of it. If you don't know who the Mars Volta is, they're phenomenal. I love the Mars Volta. So hopefully everyone will enjoy this song, and we will see you next week for episode 207.
Boosh.